let's talk about the new moon happening in Taurus on May 7th, 2024 of this month. I am so excited for this new moon because, as I mentioned on the Alchemist Inkwell podcast this week, I finally get to say, hey, we've got something warm and fuzzy in the astrology after the tumultuous, crazy April that we had. Pick a word. April was a lot. So now we actually come into May, which has a lot more promise for comforting energy. And I'm so excited to show it to you. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to show my screen so that you can see on our lovely Luna program what we are looking at with this new moon in Taurus. So of course, we're popping over here to where the moon is, and it's all right there, you guys. This is so great to see at a glance. So something that we're looking at here is the moon and the sun conjunct, which is a new moon. And they are in Taurus. The reason I'm so excited about the moon being in Taurus is because this is the sign of the moon's exaltation. While I'm really excited for 6 months from now with the full moon in Taurus, the moon full of light, doing her best, having all of the things that she needs and being exalted, this is actually extra special too. And if you're someone who has dabbled in astrology, you can probably see why. And if you're someone who is more interested in dabbling with more astrology and getting lessons on exaltations and all of those things every week, you can join the Modern School of Ancient Wisdom, where I teach these things literally weekly with a couple live lessons every month as well. But what we're looking at here is the moon and the sun in Taurus with two other planets that are the guests of this lunation. We're going to ignore Uranus right now because Uranus kills the vibe on this one, but not much. So let's talk about why. With the sign of Taurus, we also have the domicile lord of Taurus. Venus rules Taurus. So the moon is now separating from Venus and moving toward Jupiter. That is both benefics in the same sign with the sun. So now Venus also has the benefit of being in what is considered chariot in the sign of her domicile with the sun. So the sun is actually adding some oomph to that. Venus is doing excellent in Taurus. It's got her triplicity. It's got her domicile. She is loving this. And she's got the moon nearby, bringing more activation. The only downside to this is that she is close enough to the sun to be considered combust. So she doesn't have all of the things. She's got all of the resources she needs. She is at home. She is doing really well, but the air conditioner is broken. And so there is a sort of discomfort and an inability to do everything she would like to do because of that heat, because of the burning up of Venus. She is actually in the process right now of moving towards her cazimi, which will occur in Gemini next month. And at that time, she will be renewed by the sun the way Mercury does twice every cycle, or once between and once during. So the traditional planets do experience a cazimi with the sun when they are exactly conjunct to the minute or on either side of the sun within 15-degree minutes of the sun. Minutes are the smaller numbers here. And right now the moon is experiencing what you would consider a cazimi as well, but the moon does it a lot. So we call it a new moon because it happens every month. So this is the renewal of this lunar cycle. It's a new month for the moon to begin, and it is starting off with the moon in her sign of exaltation with the domicile lord and benefic Venus there, and with the other benefic Jupiter nearby. This is a little special because Jupiter will be moving out of Taurus on May 25th. So Jupiter will move into Gemini. So this is the last time for the next 12 years that we will have the opportunity to have both benefics in with the exalted new moon and all of this thing I just described to you. So it is pretty wonderful to have Venus with Jupiter, with the moon, with the sun. Honestly, in the Modern School of Ancient Wisdom, I was describing a condition called benefic enclosure this week. And you'll learn all about that if you're in the student study tier. But one of the things that bummed me out is if Saturn weren't giving us this sextile that the moon is separating from, but if that beam weren't between Saturn and Venus, then we would have the moon separating from Venus and moving towards Jupiter, which would mean that we would have the condition of benefic enclosure, which is even nicer. But I will say it doesn't take away from it too much. So this is a great benefit that we have. It's a nice new moon energy for the day of the new moon, especially. So while the moon is in Taurus, it is a lovely time. And with that, the affirmation that I have given us, because we do have Saturn here offering some support to the sun, and the sun and Saturn have perfected this aspect on this day. So the sun is just barely separating from Saturn within the last 24 hours. Because we have this sextile support from Saturn, one of the affirmations that I recommend for this is that I am allowed to be comfortable. I'm allowed to be comfortable. So we're taking the themes of Taurus and we're saying all of these themes I am allowed to have, I am allowed to feel comfortable. And then when we go even further and we talk about what kind of magic can we do to really honor this waxing moon from Taurus through another sign, her domicile, Cancer, which she will experience later in the week as well. She will be in Cancer from the 10th through the 13th. So we will have the moon in both of the signs where she is best placed during a waxing moon, the increase. This is your time to manifest as you would with a new moon, to really draw in and attract and request the abundance, the comfort, the support, all of the wonderful, cozy things that you would like to have, and even financial and other sorts of resources, because Taurus does help support that as well. Taurus is an earth sign, so the tangible things are available there, and Venus can often be a representation of bringing in those things that we desire and those things that we value. So this is another great opportunity for that. I also take it a step further in the Modern School of Ancient Wisdom, and this week we talk about working with your ancestors in your folk magic practice. This is something that is a little bit confusing in the modern time, and so we dive into it more deeply in how you would do that in various ways if you are aware of your ancestry or if you're not. One quick tip I will give to you is if you're not really aware of your ancestry, or there's no one in particular in your ancestry that you feel like really connecting with, you can always do the unknown ancestors, the ones who support you energetically, either by your genetics and your DNA or by the work that you do. A fun thing that we do in astrology is we will actually consider the astrologers who came before us to be our energetic lineage. And so the magicians that came before us and the practice that we carry on, we are a link in the chain of that tradition. So you can also kind of tap into those who came before you in a tradition, just as much as if you would like to tap into those who came before you in your own genetic ancestry. So I hope that this is really exciting for you. I hope you have a very comforting new moon. I'm very excited because during this time, I will actually be in Italy, and the new moon will take place and perfect on the 8th of May, which is my birthday and my solar return. So I'm hoping that I'm already having a really great time and that this is going to be the start of an excellent new solar revolution for me and a great start of a new month for all of us. So I hope you have a great time, a great energy, and that you make some magic.